These people you vote for, it's just window dressing. And if you don't think it's window dressing, ask yourself why nothing was done to protect the First Amendment. Why nothing was done to protect your God-given rights. You aren't granted free speech. The government is prohibited from attacking it. But the purpose of by the First Amendment, but those are God-given rights. That's the principle on which this country was founded in the Declaration of Independence. This is why I had Glenn Sunshine on yesterday. You need to start going back and thinking about where your rights come from. You need to start thinking about what the philosophical basis of the society that we are going to rebuild on the ruins of this Sodom and Gomorrah we call America. You need to think about that. You need to think about how you're going to start building your society from the ground up. And let me tell you, it's going to be from the underground up. As Glenn Sunshine was saying, for 300 years, you know, America's only been around for 200. For 300 years, the Christian church survived under ruthless persecution. It will survive and thrive under this ruthless persecution by these godless atheists, these transhumanists, these depopulationists, these technocrats. They will thrive and survive. And we will rebuild the society from the underground up. You better start preparing for this now, because they're going to shut everything down for you. You will not travel. You will not have a job. You will not have recreation unless you get the vaccine, unless you get the number. You better start preparing. And so when we look at this and how this is going out, is this article here from Alistair Crook. I'll go back to it. And he talks about how, just to be clear, it's not just the Five Eyes intelligence community at work here. That's right, yeah. This YouTube. See, they've merged. The intelligence agencies have merged. You know, the Five Eyes and the NSA, the CIA, they created these companies that they turned control of the internet over to. That's what the purpose of the internet was from the very beginning. They always had propaganda. And they always had their mind control programs. They were trying everything they could, you know, drugs and all kinds of stuff, right? But now they can propagandize you, and they can close the feedback loop. In engineering, if you put something out, it's an open loop system. If you don't have any feedback about what the output of the system is, right? If you have output from if you have feedback from the output, you have a closed loop system, unless you fine tune it. What they've created is a closed loop propaganda system. It's far more powerful than what Goebbels had. It's far more powerful than what Edward Bernays had. Edward Bernays had laid the foundation for propaganda in World War I before Goebbels and his ilk picked it up for the Nazis in World War II. That was an American thing. And now they have closed that loop on feedback. It's very scientific. It's one of the other things as I was reading that book from Glenn Sunshine 2 nights ago. And I'm looking at how the people who established Western civilization and the political institutions that we had, how thoroughly immersed they were in a Christian worldview, understanding the fallen nature of man. And I thought about how in science, the early scientists who created the scientific method, people like Francis Bacon, people like Isaac Newton, even people as recently as Maxwell and others who created Maxwell's equations, they were very, very well-versed Christians, grounded in a Christian understanding of the world. And I thought, as we've lost that grounding in terms of our politics, in terms of our science, look at the monster that these institutions have become. These political institutions have become horrific monsters as they see themselves accountable to no one. They have truly become Hobbes's Leviathan, a law unto themselves, accountable to no one and no God. And that is true of our technocrats as well. And so we look at this, just to be clear, YouTube took down a Ludwig von Mises Institute video with more than 1.5 million views. Why? Because it just challenged policy aspects of the response to coronavirus. It didn't challenge the virus narrative or the vaccine, just the policies.